crypto. Coinbase interject, a moment within company. Longtime Chief Legal Officer Paul Grewal stepping down from position, paving way for Ryan Van Grack to step in. Agency new Vice Chairman of the company Coinbase looking to strengthen its influence on cryptics legislation as lawmakers expected to release a new draft of the Clarity Act when they return to Capitol Hill next week. Cynthia Lummis joining us, telling us, expecting it to get to floor in Senate July, decline August 7th. Newly appointed Vice Chairman Coinbase Ryan Van Grack. Excited to talk about changes at Coinbase. I want to talk legislation, how Clarity Act may affect things. Let me start on crypto, because cryptocurrency conditions obviously weakened totally. Market capitalization failing over 2 trillion June 25th, down 50% from late 2025. Severity decline has some questioning. The impact on Coinbase, how do you see it? Well, it is important, will not to lose the forest for the trees, if you do. One layer deeper, all trend lines are positive. You have broad institutional adoption happening all of the time. Coinbase continues to form important partnerships with major financial institutions. You see innovation continuing to accelerate at pace, never before seen across the industry. And you see legislative and regulatory developments all helping create the scaffolding going to turbocharge Coinbase and industry more broadly. I want to talk about that legislation. Built, you had massive success in terms of moving into news businesses. I mentioned the everything exchange. You moved into new businesses like stablecoin, diversifying revenue. Tell us about the priorities at Coinbase and what leads growth in coming years.
Absolutely. You lit nail on the head, Maria. Everything exchange is a critical one. Stop shop for finance. That is because what drives us customers responding to needs on our exchange. You can trade stocks, crypto, commodity futures, options, prediction markets, perpetuals, AI, based registered advisor. If a customer wants it, we either have it or work hard to development. Part of the key there, Maria, this convergence between traditional finance and crypto. 10 years from now, we are not talking about two different universes, talking about modern financial institutions. Everything that Coinbase is doing to aggregate acceptable on one YAP, exactly what consumers want. Direction of travel in finance. I think you are analyzing this right on. But, you know, the strength of your from an archive. I guess Depth has other companies questioning it because you are not under the same framework in terms of regulation. Right, I spoke with JP Morgan Chase Chairman CEO Jamie Dimon. He is worried about the current rules in the Clarity Act and that eventually going to blow up the entire monetary system. Is talking about potential for money to be on the platform, crypto platforms, Coinbase included. In fact, you are not FDIC assured, told me how you feel about coin industry, Brian Armstrong last week. So are you happy the way Clarity Act is turning out? No, because it allows them to effectively pay interest on deposits. Stablecoin, something like that, without protection that they should have, doesn't do anything for. MLBSA, almost no legal protections. No banks will not accept that way ever. Small banks, credit unions, not just big guys. I am not worried about stablecoin. I am tell you I would have nothing to do with it. It would eventually blow up on its one. My personal thing, I do want to. All banks. Markup coming. What are you doing?
We will fight it. If we lose, we lose. We will live, but it will be fought. Kobo shall not be. No one is going to bow down to this guy or company. He is only one spending hundreds, millions of dollars. He is representing the whole industry. So's bleep. Talking about CEO Brian Armstrong, your response. I can tell you this. There is no company that has worked harder, fought longer to get regulation in crypto than Brian Armstrong and Coinbase. We fought it too hard. We sued FDIC to push them to create rule regulation. I can tell firsthand, as former senior regulatory at SEC, we believe we emphasize important of regulation. Clarity is going to protect investors for RT innovation, going to allow the US to lead in this, says if. And so I am greatly encouraged by what we are seeing with Clarity Act,
because it has that vision in mind, it has consumer protections in mind, maybe even more importantly, it is a bipartisan effort, because what we are seeing on the ground is a concerted group of Democratic and Republican senators working around the clock to get this across the finish line. Maria, I agree with that, but at the same time, the regulation is not equal. If you are going to be, if sound like a bank, walk like a bank, you should be regulated, lining a bank like FDIC regulated, following same rules major banks follow. Look,
I think it is a fiction to believe that institutions and rules that were promulgated nearly 100 years ago are well tailored, suited to the technology of today. 21st century financial system should be running on 20th century rails. We embrace technology. We also embrace what innovation provides, and put that within scaffold of home GDs and securities laws. We have deep experts at two commissions, SEC, CFTC, thoughtful leaders at Hill, navigating rules, not about less regulation. It is about regulation in the first place. Too long the industry operated without the full sweep of the regulatory scaffolding, protecting with us of resistance by incumbents and others to embrace technology. Trend lines are positive at the end of the day. Institutions may have had resistance to crypto technology, are embracing it, partnering with Coinbase because they recognize what Brian Armstrong Coinbase did over a decade ago, that it is simply a question of when, not if, the broader FM institutions don't crypto technology. Maria, let's look at crypto this morning. Bitcoin 64,000. Some expect a price breakout to 67,000. But look, we know that coin is reliant on crypto volumes, and crypto volumes have been weakening. The crypto market has been in territory last couple months. What changes with Clarity Act? You are talking about an increase in stablecoin revenue growth. You are talking about market share expectations to go higher for Cane Coin, and stablecoin should benefit. What cheap GS do you expect? Weeds. Clarity Act becomes law. Look, first of all, I like phrase when Clarity Act becomes law. On 1 yard line. Momentum is unmayable. Very optimistic about it becoming law. The changes we are going to see is with the Clarity Act passing, that is going to trigger not just stability and clarity within space, but a suite of rules, regulations to follow. The reason that is critical is because institutions and individuals, they embrace regulation. They want that certainty, so those may have been on the sidelines, or those may have dipped in water. We expect that to accelerate once you have the regulatory scaffolding we've long sought in this space. What are you expecting in terms of Critic going forward? Give us Coinbase biggest opportunities expanding beyond traditional crypto trading. I mean, you are the leading cryptocurrency exchange platform in the country, and we want to understand how that impacts people longer term. How does this shake out? Coinbase's vision to become future in finance. We have been own ground floor embracing crypto through everything. Exchange not just about crypto on our platform. You can do virtually anything you can see on other brokerages. EBS institutions' intentional change to become one-stop shop again. That is all about the convergence of financial institutions to embrace this technology, and the fact that we were in a first and on cutting edge of embracing technology leads this inevitable convergence in our direction, because with developments, tokenization of assets, more and more what has happened in traditional finance going to happen on crypto rails. Coinbase, Peffel, poised to take advantage of those changes and opportunities. You received regulatory approval in the UK to offer derivative equities trading to institutional retail investors on one platform. That was a big deal.
I know you're regarding your second quarter results in August. Can you give us a sense what the road ahead looks like in terms of the opportunities? Is it all about the everything exchange? What about prediction markets? About what regulatory changes would you expect there? What is impact?
To answer first part of your question, all of the above. UK great example. We don't think example. We're looking to find ways to expand what we offer to customers, where focus likes prediction, markets, innovation continues, technique, embraced in US. What I think particularly encouraging the narrative is the same, which is you are seeing the CFTC continue to promulgate results and regulations guidance in the space, because that is what with consumers want. That is what the market needs in order to continue to flourish and grow.
Maria, the stock has been down along with volume in crypto. To what would you attribute that? Stocks rise and tall fall, not the first time. Deeps in critic space. A lot of attention has been focused on what we've 70 last 6 months to a year, the progression of the Clarity Act, the work by Chair Atkins, Chair Selig to continue to create, again, regulatory stuff, holding, you can see undercurrent building, greater clarity in the space. So I think to where I started at the top of this conversation, I have never been more bullish about the prospects for coin counter for the industry at large. Maria, yeah, I mean, I don't want to read too much into stock market activity. Right, stock down 30% year to date, but it is right in line with the fact that we've got uncertainty over Clarity Act. We've got uncertainty about trading around Bitcoin. So thanks for taking that one. I usually don't read too much into short-term moves. Ryan, we will watch your work. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. Thanks, appreciate the time.